tonight's panel discussion with the title War in the Land of Prophets, a Hopeless Case for Peace. My name is Christine Gerhardt. I'm the director of the German-American Institute here in Freiburg, and it is a great honor to now briefly, or not so briefly, introduce our tonight's panelists to you, as well as the moderator, who will then moderate the discussion. Let me begin with Jeff Halper. Jeff Halper was born in the United States and emigrated to Israel in 1973. He holds a PhD in anthropology and has written his dissertation on 19th century Jewish immigration to Palestine. And he then became a professor for anthropology at Ben Gurion University. So I always thought on that. Soon Jeff Halper joined the Israeli peace movement, and in 1997 he became a co-founder of the Israeli Committee Against House Demolition. That's an organization that tries to prevent the destruction of Palestinian houses, people's homes, and also helps people to rebuild their homes when they have been destroyed. He has for very long been an advocate for a peaceful solution to the conflicts in the Middle East, a solution that would emphasize the significance of human rights and international law. In 2006, Jeff Halper, together with the Palestinian human rights activist Ghassan Adoni, was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Let me move on to Richard Falk, our second guest tonight. Richard Falk is Professor Emeritus for International Law at Princeton University and guest professor for Global and International Studies at the renowned University of California at Santa Barbara. He's the author of numerous essays and books, including The Cost of War, International Law, and World Order After Iraq. His most recent book, The Great Terror War, which came out in 2003, is probing very critically the American answer in quotation marks, to the September 11 attacks of 2001. In 2001, he became a member of the United Nations Fact-Finding Committee on Human Rights for Palestine, and in March 2008, Richard Falk was named United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in the Palestinian territories occupied since 1967 by the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. Professor Richard Falk is widely known as one of the most important representatives of the international peace movement, and he's also, obviously, of course, one might say, a rather controversial figure, something which I believe holds true for most people who have something to say and are involved with this conflict. Last but not least, our third speaker tonight is Dr. Anna Ruchak, who is a lawyer and also has a very long history, rather long history, of promoting a peaceful solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. She studied law here at the Albert Ludwigs University in Freiburg and was already very active politically back then because she was president of the student union here in Freiburg, the ASTA. She wrote a dissertation at the renowned Max Planck Institute for International Criminal Law here in Freiburg, and since 2007 has been a lawyer at Berlin. She organized, among many other things, a panel discussion on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and in 2006 worked for the Association for Civil Rights in Israel in the legal department at Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Israel. This is everything in terms of as short as it is possible to introduce our very renowned row of speakers for tonight, and I will hand over the microphone to our moderator. Thank you very much.
Dr. Gerhardt. I am supposed to be the moderator, and moderators should moderate and not make speeches. So I will make no speech, but I think I should make just 2 points that are important to me. First of all, we should remember that the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is, I think, in modern times, the longest and most dramatic conflict with which not only the Middle East, but we all have struggled, particularly also challenges, I don't need to emphasize this to the German audience, we here in Germany. I guess we all would prefer prefer to be outside in this beautiful spring evening if we would give the answer, yeah, this is a hopeless case for peace. I think there is a question mark, hopeless case for peace, question mark, and because of that we have come, because we want to hear something why it is not a hopeless case. Second point I want to make, it's a rare opportunity to get such a group of 3 outstanding human beings into a conference room here in Freiburg. I regret very much, and I'm a little bit ashamed, that we are here together to listen to such a timely subject, and yet the mainstream media, as usual, bypasses opportunities.
Yes.
And here we have 3 people, all 3 of them I would say, that distinguish themselves with knowledge about a very complex flashpoint of global international relations. Equally important, I would say, all 3 have experience on how to deal with such conflicts. 2 important factors. Now comes a third element that I need to mention, which is rare. That is their commitment and their respect to international law, where many people smile. International law, one politician recently said, international law, we don't need it, we make it. You know? That's one way. They take it very seriously, as they do this slogan, justice for all. And the fourth is maybe a very crucial one, and there is such a lack of it, and that is courage. There is so little courage right now to speak out and to do what we all should do, and that is to uphold the ideals of this little booklet, the United Nations Charter. And that despite mistreatment and danger, has been in jail, has been refused in Tel Aviv recently from entering to fulfill his mandate as the United Nations Human Rights Rapporteur, rejection, ridiculing. I think all 3 have experienced that. No more than this, I want to now just make a reference to the process for this evening. We will have introductory statements, 10 to 15 minutes. I was a little bit worried when Professor Halper said to me, I'm a professor, and you know professors like to talk. We will be flexible, we will be tolerant up to a point, and then I will show the ugly face. We will start with Mr. Halper, we will then move on to Mr. Falk and to Mrs. Lucha. When they have spoken, with your agreement, I will give them a chance to exchange questions, comments about each other's papers, if they have any, and then it's over to us, to you, and I very much hope that we will have a very good exchange between you and the panel. I beg you, no parallel speeches. I know it's tempting to get it out, but be concise, make it short, have comments, yes, have concise questions. 10 o'clock, the university will throw us out, we have to go. And I learned yesterday or the day before something again from our group here, when they made a case that one has to approach the peace discussion in a reasoned way. That does not mean that we don't have a heart, that we can't have emotions. What we shouldn't have and cannot have is manipulation. That we don't want. Well, what do we want to get out of this for tonight? I think I would see this as an opportunity to get some answers to alternative approaches of this handling of the Israeli-Palestinian crisis.